Hello and welcome everyone to episode 21 of Empire of the Full Moon, the show where yours truly, Mike Cadaver, talks about anything and everything having to do with the work of Charles Band. And today I've got another great movie we're going to be talking about. But before I get into that, I have been reading the YouTube handbook, the YouTube Creator's Handbook. And at this point in the video, I have to urge you to like and subscribe my video and to definitely smash that alert bell, right? Okay, so it feels weird to say, and come on, guys, come on. You know, I just want to make everyone happy, okay, including myself, though, too, so there's that. But now that I've done my due diligence and the YouTube Creator Union won't be mad at me, let's get into one more thing. Actually, I do want to say one more thing before I get into the show, okay? So I have, with this video, you know, I have been looking at books, Confessions of a Puppet Master, a Hollywood memoir of ghouls, guts, and gonzo filmmaking. I have that in all three formats, audio, ebook, and regular paperback, right? I have Empire of the Bees, the Mad Movie World of Charles Band. I have that in ebook format, but I can't find it on audiobook. And the cheapest I can find the paperback is it's basically just under $450 or something, right? So anyways, and I do have, it came from the video aisle. I do have the paperback and audiobook on that, but apparently it doesn't have an ebook format. I'd love it if there was some way to grab the ebook version of it came from the video aisle, because I've read it a couple times, meaning I've listened to it a couple times. But it's harder to like find your research and search for keywords that way. But if any of you guys have leads on any of that for a reasonable price, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try to rip anybody off or get it illegally or for free. But yeah, if you have any information, I would really love that. Right now, I guess I have to actually go through and read the actual book and annotate the crap out of it. But I guess that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, okay, so this episode, we're going to be talking about a movie that, in my opinion, doesn't get enough attention. Even though it was released in what I call Full Moon Entertainment's golden age, you know, and when I say that, I'm talking about when Full Moon and Paramount were working together, going strong right in the beginning, and it kind of gave Full Moon dug in their heels, gave them a real good entrance into getting people used to renting their stuff, all that stuff. Paramount did a good job distributing it. But this movie today, we're talking about Seedpeople from 1992. Now, this one was released, like I said, Golden Age, in the midst of the Bloodstone series, subspecies series, the Puppet Master series, Trancer series. But I'll tell you what, this one doesn't seem to be getting the love or even the attention online that I feel like it deserves. This is maybe not one of the flagship Full Moon series movies, but there were a lot of others even in this time that were coming out, including this one. But anyways, before I get started, I'm going to lay everything out on the line right now. And I'm going to, and before any of you guys, because I read a lot of negativity about this one, and I'm having a hard time, but I'm going to, before I even start talking about it, I'm going to address some of the main critiques of this, or criticisms of this. And yes, it's definitely an Invasion of the Body Snatchers ripoff. Let there be no doubt. However, that is fine, and I'm not saying anything specific right here, but I know that there's a lot of Full Moon features that, let's say, take the good parts from other movies, right? But it's Full Moon style. This is the ripoff of the Body Snatchers Full Moon style. And having said that, I think that if you're listening to the show or watching the show, you know exactly what I mean by that. But without further ado, let's all get into the trailer for Seedpeople from 1992. Here you go.
In Comet Valley, the seeds that aliens have planted have grown inside of human souls.
Somebody's fooling around in that orchard tonight, Thurman. Look, I got a crop I gotta get in. Now, something's gotta be done about this.
The question is, are you one of them or one of us?
Now, they are readying mankind for the harvest that will enslave the earth.
This is
the creature I saw in the room with her, Heidi. We can't be sure about anyone anymore.
Please, please run!
I'll chop you to pieces. I have unleashed a terrible thing on the world.
Seed People, the root of all evil.
All right, everybody, Seed People, 1992, 4.4 out of 10 on the IMDb. Out of about, it only has about 1,400 scores. Okay, so that's not a ton. It was directed by Peter Manoogian. Definitely another Charles Band stalwart, having worked on tons of Empire, tons of Full Moon stuff. He was the first assistant director on Parasite in 1982, so one of the very earliest Empire films. And he also was the first assistant director on Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin from 1983. He directed the Cave Beast segment of Dungeon Master from 1984, where I believe he and John Carl Buechler worked together on that little cave guy. He directed The Eliminators from 1986, Enemy Territory 1987, Arena, Demonic Toys 1992. Obviously, this one's Seed People. A few others, but these are the ones that stand out the most to me. So there you go. But like I said, this guy has been around forever, and he has put a lot of work into Charles Band's visions and all that kind of stuff too. So this movie was written by Charles Band. Well, the idea and the story came from it, right? And maybe we should throw out the writer of the original Body Snatchers a credit here too, but I didn't write that down. But this was written by, the screenplay was by Jack Conson. I didn't know this, but he's actually a guy who's done quite a few things for Full Moon. I did not know that Jack Conson was a nom de plume for Jackson Barr. Sorry, Jackson Barr was a nom de plume for Jack Conson. But as Jackson Barr, he did Subspecies from 1991, Trancers 2, 91, Bad Channels, 1992, Robot Wars, 1993, Mandroid from 1993. All right, so this movie starts Sam Headings as Tom Baines, Andrea Roth as Heidi Tucker, Diane Witherspoon as Brad Yates, Bernard Cates as Doc Roller, Holly Fields as Kim Tucker. Holly Fields you'll recognize probably, well, I guess Tom Baines is a pretty recognizable face, but as Full Moon fans, I think the most recognizable face would be Sonny Carl Davis as Burt Mosley. Rabbit from Evil Bong series is where he was even Rabbit in Trancers 2, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, it's good to see him in earlier days before the Evil Bong series. And anyway, okay, let's get into the plot, shall we? Comet Valley is an idyllic small town of farmers and kind folks. Comet Valley got its name because of the reputation of comet and meteor sightings. Shocking, right? The worst thing that seems to be happening to some of these farmers at this point is the annoyance that comes with comet tourists trudging around on private property. Enter Tom Baines, a geologist and former Comet Valley resident. He returns to town after years away, drawn back by reports of the meteor that had landed in the nearby woods. We get a little backstory and some character introductions. One of my favorite characters being young Kim Tucker, like I said, played by Holly Fields. She suspects that the housekeeper and the cook of the bed and breakfast in town that is owned by Heidi Tucker, which is her relation, is no longer herself, the housekeeper and cook. She has the family camcorders. Basically, she takes this camcorder and is hell-bent on filming proof of her the body snatcher mentality. Eventually, she starts seeing other townsfolk having this strange behavior. It seems like many of the residents who were once warm and familiar suddenly act cold and motionless and disturbingly distant. Well, it turns out the reports that John Bain read were correct. A meteorite, which turns out to be an actual space seed, did in fact land, and unbeknownst to the townfolk, at least for a while, the seed had taken root and had already sprouted. Now, this grew into a tree, like a really strange space tree, right? I mean, crazy. I think this tree actually makes us warrant an almost NC-17 rating, right? It's dirty. The tree is ready to make you its B word. The only question you have to ask yourself is, you want to die by a totally erotic, hairy female private part that ejaculates on you, or do you want to be bombarded by giant pollen, which is the male reproductive cells of the plant? Either way, confusingly erotic, but definitely gross. Tom learns that not only are these seed pods real, but they're infecting the townspeople, replacing them with aliens that can transform back and forth into these hideous seed people and into emotionless drones in their human form. Once transformed, the seed people retain their victim's memory but serve a single purpose: to spread the alien spores and colonize the earth. Tom and a small group of survivors must stay vigilant as they struggle to identify who's still human and who has been taken. The seed people are fast, powerful, and deadly, able to launch thorn-like projectiles and disappear into clouds of spores. With each passing day, the infestation grows, and the line between friend and foe becomes dangerously blurred. As the town is overrun, Tom and Heidi, joined by the town's resident mad scientist, race against time to destroy the source of the invasion, the original meteor site, before the seed people can spread beyond Comet Valley and threaten the rest of the planet. Can Tom and Heidi find success in saving the world? What in the ding-dong heckamadoodle hell are these things anyway? Is this the filthiest movie with absolutely no human nudity or sex? Find out by watching Seedpeople from 1992. Okay. First and foremost, we have to talk about the Seedpeople designs. Designed and created by John Carl Buechler. Do you want to know why his name keeps coming up on this show? Because he is one of the greatest creature effects creators on the planet. Well, not so much on the planet anymore, but he did a great job on these. One is Shooter. He didn't have any legs and scooted with his hands, but he was actually played by Matt Demerit, an actor with no legs, to get in the suit for this one. He was the one created by the Jizz. The critter potato bug, or the tumbler, basically a furry, dusty-looking ball that opens up like a potato bug to open up with this crazy face and, perfect John Buechler, brilliant look. And I believe this one was created by the giant pollen. This one was great. It just rolled across the forest to get close to a person. Then it'd open up and destroy it. It was great. It was shown in the video zone that they actually pulled this one along with an RC car in some, what I assume to be fishing line or something like that. And Debbie Lee Carrington played this one. She's the hot blonde midget hooker in Total Recall. And I know that you recognize her. There was also another seed person. He had giant teeth, lands on his victims. By far, this is the most fun part of the movie, these monsters. To be honest with you, it's very full moony, right? It's kind of cool. It was filmed, this was actually filmed at Paramount Ranch. Some of the nighttime scenes there, Crestline, California, Lake Arrowhead, San Bernardino National Forest. It was filmed late in November in 1991. But one thing I do have to mention, this film looks amazing remastered. So I do have the Blu-ray, but I just, me, I kind of like collect all the Blu-rays, but I still kind of like to watch them all on the full moon streaming, because they have that, and they also had the good old video zone. The colors are vibrant. There's a day and night shots, the forest hills, but the monsters, like I said, are definitely the draw. In regards to the night scenes, they kind of seem ethereal. It's kind of lit in a way that the moon obviously is a spotlight, right? And it kind of gives it a magical touch. I mean, I guess that could be you could criticize that for not seeming real or whatever, but I think it gives it a little bit of a magical touch. And, there's only a bit of this movie that takes place at night. I always say that the full moon features always have one thing that sets it above other films of the same caliber, meaning, budget, things like that. And I think this one is Adolfo Bartoli. I think that, he did such a great job. It's weird because it does have, and it like the atmosphere of a full moon feature, but for some reason there's just a little bit that seems not quite all the way. I don't know. Richard Band and Bob Mithoff did the score, so that was great. It's difficult for me to describe exactly why it feels just a little bit off, but it doesn't matter. I love this movie. Obviously, I'm doing it on the show. The video zone was great. The effects of the creatures tumbling across the forest, like I said, it was hilarious. And we could talk about that. It was fiberglass wrapped into a netting and pulled behind a remote control cars on strings. I don't know. This was great. The acting was pretty good, man. It's like, I don't know why this has, I mean, okay, so yeah, the plot isn't super duper, complex, I guess is the word, but I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to come up with things, and I feel like a lot of the things that I've read in other reviews, things like that, I think they're complaints about that were derived from budgetary or lack of the budget, right? And it's like, oh, well, this guy does this, and this is a weird special effect. You didn't move quite right, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a low budget film, so it's difficult for me to really agree with a lot of that. Anyways, that's really all I got. Check it out. It's fun. It's gross, and maybe if they did a little bit more grossness, some of the people would have enjoyed it more. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know that. I know that. This was released direct to video in 1992, DVD release in 2012, remaster for Blu-ray in 2024. But that's where I'll leave you. Subscribe to this, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, please. Tell your friends about corpsecollective.com, about this. And until next time, I'll catch you later.